Good morning, students. In the last class, we have started the topic liberalization, under which we have completed the industrial sector reform, and we were studying the topic financial sector reform, under which we have to study the various reform. So today we are going to study the different reforms under the financial sector reforms. So the various reforms are role of first of all in financial sector reform. The first one is role of RBI. रोल क्या था RBI का अंडर द फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर रिफॉर्म? Prior to 1991, RBI role was a role of a regulator. ओके जब हम बिफोर 1991 की बात करते हैं तो RBI का रोल क्या था? वो बस एक रेगुलेटर की तरह था. वो रेगुलेट करता था सारे कमर्शियल बैंक को. एज अ रेगुलेटर RBI यूज टू फिक्स इंटरेस्ट रेट स्ट्रक्चर. ओके, एज अ रेगुलेटर द फंक्शन ऑफ RBI, Reserve Bank of India, was to fix all the interest rate like CRR, SLR or kind of interest rate on which rate the loan is to be given, on when any customer deposit their money, so what should be the interest rate. These all interest rate are decided by the fixed by the RBI. Also commercial bank were supposed to consult RBI on almost all financial matters. Okay, all the commercial bank have to were supposed to ask everything about what they have to do. They had to ask everything about for everything different matter they have to ask to RBI. Okay, on especially on these financial matters, what should be interest rate, or how much we were given at the as a loan, or how much we have taken the deposit. All kind of activities, all kind of financial matters, the commercial banks are supposed to ask from the RBI. Okay, now with the new economic policy, one of the major aims of the financial sector reform was to reduce the role of RBI from regulator to facilitator of the financial sector. Okay, when the new economic policy was introduced, there was a role as a as a regulator is to convert it into the role of RBI as a facilitator. Okay, अभी क्या होने लगा? पहले RBI का रोल क्या था? वो एज अ रेगुलेटर काम करता था. मीन्स सारे जो भी इंटरेस्ट रेट और फाइनेंशियल मैटर से रिलेटेड जितने भी सारे वर्क होते थे, all are decided by the RBI. But now RBI is as declared as a facilitator. RBI only facilitate all the commercial banks. This means that the financial sector may be allowed to take decision on many financial matters without consulting RBI. Now all the many financial sector have to doesn't take any decision regarding to financial matter from the RBI. Okay, they have their own decision to take any decision related to financial matter. अब उनको क्या है पूछने की, हर सारे जो भी फाइनेंशियल मैटर से पूछने की अब RBI से पूछने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. जितने भी सारे फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, कमर्शियल बैंक है, अभी क्या है वो खुद भी कोई भी डिसीज़न लेना होगा तो वो खुद ले सकते हैं. नाउ सेकेंड इज एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स. Prior to 1991, before private sector banks were not encouraged, as public sector was given more importance in the government policies. Okay, when we talk about the before 1991, the private sector banks were not encouraged because all the place of the especially in the banks were taken by the public sector banks. So there were no any private sector banks, and they were not so much encouraged to open their branches as well as to open their banks. But reform policies led to the establishment of private sector bank India as well as the foreign. Okay, when the new economic policy was introduced, now the private sector were encouraged to open as well as establish not only the India but as well as foreign also, which increase the size of competition and provided better services to the customer. Okay, when there is establishment of private sector bank in India as well as foreign, it leads to the it raises the so much competition, as well as they also provide the better services to their consumer. When there are different banks, they were provided the better services to the consumer, so they have faced the competition among them, and they can regulate and they can provide the better services, as well as they improve and enhance their quality as well. Okay, फिर वो क्या होने लगा कि वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स क्या हैं, इंडिया में नहीं, इवन फॉरेन में भी ओपन होने लगे। फिर उससे क्या हुआ, अल्टीमेटली इट्स लीड टू दी कंपटीशन। इनके ऐसे क्या हुआ, कंपटीशन हुआ, और हर एक बैंक क्या था, अपने आप को सुपियोरिटी और एक एज अ बेस्ट बैंक शो करने के लिए वो लोग क्या थे, बेटर सर्विसेज भी प्रोवाइड करने लगे। नेक्स्ट इज फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट। प्रायर टू 1991 foreign investment in India foreign investment in Indian financial market was restricted. Okay, बिफोर 1991 की अगर हम लोग बात करते हैं तो जो भी फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट था, फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट मीन्स कि जो भी द इन्वेस्टमेंट विच इज़ डन बाय द फॉरेन countries or foreign institutions, it should be within the India, and we can, and also the Indian member are also invest their money in foreign also, ठीक। So before 1991 the Indian financial market were not so much encouraged to invest their money in foreign, as well they are also restricted to invest their money in foreign. But with the reform policies new foreign investment limit in banks were raised to around 50%. But after the introduction of the reform, so that the investment limit is also increased up to the 50%. अभी क्या है, जो बैंक्स के जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट लिमिट है, वो लिमिट क्या हो गई, वो अप टू दी 50%। अभी क्या है, फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कर सकते हैं टिल दी 50%। अगर आपका 100 करोड़ का पेड अप कैपिटल है या थोराइज्ड कैपिटल है, तो उसका 50% आप अमाउंट क्या कर सकते हैं, इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। So foreign institutional investors such as merchant bankers, mutual funds, pension funds are now allowed to invest in financial market under the strict guidelines of RBI. Okay, there are two types of the investment. First is FDI. You have also listened the term FDI, means foreign direct investment, and the second one is foreign portfolio investment. Okay, it is also called the foreign institutional investors, that is FII. Foreign direct investment means if anybody or any institution invests their money in the foreign, they have overall control over the asset. But in FPI they have invested their money, so they do not have control over the asset. Means अगर FDI ये होता है कि अगर कोई फॉरेन कंट्री में, इंडिया ने किसी फॉरेन कंट्री में क्या किया है, इन्वेस्ट किया है, उस इन्वेस्टमेंट पे अगर हमने किया है, अगर FDI किया है, तो मीन्स अगर मैंने 50 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, तो उस 50 करोड़ पे पूरा मेरा क्या होगा, एक कंट्रोल होगा कि कहाँ पे वो इन्वेस्टमेंट किया जा रहा है, कितना कैपिटल रेज हो रहा है। सो ये क्या होगा कि अगर किसी असेट पे मेरा पूरा कंट्रोल है, मीन्स उससे अगर बैंक ओपन हुआ या कोई MNCs ओपन हुई, तो एट दैट सिचुएशन एनी कंपनी हैव फुल कंट्रोल ओवर दैट असेट। बट इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट द फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट, इन दैट कंडीशन दे डू नॉट हैव कंट्रोल ओवर द असेट। पूरे पे उसका असेट पे कंट्रोल कभी भी नहीं होगा, ठीक। तो फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट इज़ ऑल्सो कॉल्ड दी foreign institutional investors such as merchant bankers. Who is merchant bankers? Merchant bankers offer services to the company that issue the securities. Okay, they have offered the different kind of services, who introduces and issues the different kind of securities. They advises clients on the investment decision. They also advise the different lines or related to the investment key, from where you have to invest, how much you get the return, all kind of related information they have provided. And they also purchase and sell the securities to provide them portfolio management services. Okay, they also purchase and sell the security. So these all are the merchant bankers. They provide the services to issue the securities. And mutual funds is a fund. It is the investment vehicle whose where many investors pool their money to earn return on their capital over a पीरियड. ओके, म्यूचुअल फंड क्या होता है? सिंपली एक इन्वेस्टमेंट होता है जिसमें बहुत सारे इन्वेस्टर्स क्या करते हैं, अपने मनी को इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, सो दैट इन दैट आफ्टर दैट दे गेट दी रिटर्न ऑन देयर कैपिटल ओवर अ पीरियड. किसी पीरियड ऑफ टाइम पे बाद वो अपने कैपिटल पे क्या करते हैं, कुछ रिटर्न पाते हैं. सो व्हेन न्यू इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी 1991 were introduced, so after introduction of 1991 new economic policy, these kind of merchant banking, mutual fund, pension funds, pension fund, when the any person is get retired, they get the pension fund. So these all are also included and started to invest in Indian financial market. All kind of merchant banker as well as the mutual fund, these all also included and allowed it to invest in the India under the strict guidelines of the RBI. RBI also provide the strict guidelines. So in the strict guidelines of RBI, the all kind of investment are also started to India. In the Indian financial market means all the financial money market where the government securities are purchased and sale. So at that market all kind of investment were allowed after 1991, which were restricted before 1991. ये सारे क्या थे, restricted थे 1991 के पहले, but अभी क्या हुआ, they all are started, they all are invested their money in the foreign investment. Okay, setting up new branches. Prior to 1991, approval of RBI was required to set up a new branches by the bank. Okay, when we talk about the before 1991, when any commercial bank want to set up their establish their branches, they have to ask from the government, from the RBI. Okay, whenever they were want to spend when set up their branches, so they had to ask from the RBI to set up their branches. Now those banks which fulfill certain condition as are given freedom to set up a new branches. Okay, now those bank the bank who want to establish, they want to set up their branches, if they fulfill their all the criterias of the RBI, they can establish and they can set up their branches. So without the approval of RBI, they do not take any approval from the RBI, they were establish their branches and rationalize their existing branches network. Okay, and they can rationalize, they can changes and existing branches network, whatever the different existing branches were there, they can all the setting up the different branches as well as different rules and regulation, they can also regulate all kind of activities. Though commercial banks have been given permission to generate resources from India and abroad, certain managerial aspects have been retained with the RBI. Okay, now the commercial banks are given to generate resources from, they got the permission from the RBI as well as the government to generate resources. They can generate the resources from the India as well as the abroad, certain managerial aspects have been retained with the RBI. Okay, there were certain aspects which were also retained with the RBI to safeguard the interest of the account holder and the nation, so that there were a safeguard of the interest of the investor, interest of the account and the nation. Okay, सारे जो है परमिशन क्या है कमर्शियल बैंक्स को दे दिया गया कि वो अपने ब्रांचेस को भी इंस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं. दे कैन, अगर उनको क्या करना है, इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है एज अ फैसिलिटेटर बैंक अब आरबीआई काम कर रहा है. तो स्टिल कुछ अभी भी कंडीशन, कुछ अभी भी ऐसी एक्टिविटीज़ और सर्टेन एस्पेक्ट्स थे जो अभी भी आरबीआई के साथ उनको रखा गया फॉर दी, अगर वो क्या करे, फॉर दी सेफ गार्ड ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द अकाउंट होल्डर. जो भी अकाउंट होल्डर हैं, जो अकाउंट को होल्ड कर रहे हैं, उनका क्या है, उनके इंटरेस्ट को सेव कर सके एज वेल एज नेशंस के भी जो इंटरेस्ट. ऐसा ना हो कि लोगों का इंटरेस्ट ही आरबीआई के साथ ख़त्म हो जाए. तो इसलिए क्या था, कुछ जो थे एक एज अ सर्टेन एस्पेक्ट्स क्या थे, आरबीआई के साथ रिटेन करके रखे गए थे. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इज फिजिकल और टैक्स रिफॉर्म. The third, in the liberalization, we have completed the industrial sector reform. Second is financial sector reform, and the third one is fiscal and tax reform. Tax reform are concerned with the reform in government revenue and government expenditure policies, which are collectively known as fiscal policy. Fiscal policy means, there are two types of policies which is governed by the RBI as well as government. The monetary policy is governed by the Reserve Bank of India, and the second one is fiscal policy, which is governed by the Government of India. In the fiscal policy, there is management of the government revenue as well as government expenditure. Okay, what is the different sources of government revenue and how and where the government will expand their money. It will deal with the fiscal policy, and it ultimately governed and regulated by the central गवर्नमेंट. ओके, सो देखिए टू टाइप्स की पॉलिसीज़ होती है, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी एज वेल एज फिजिकल पॉलिसी. मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी क्या होता है, वो कौन रेगुलेट कंट्रोल करता है, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, एज वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड इन मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स इन चैप्टर 6 बैंकिंग में. फिजिकल पॉलिसी क्या होती है, फिजिकल पॉलिसी में गवर्नमेंट की कितना रेवेन्यू हो रहा है, कितना एक्सपेंडिचर हो रहा है, इससे हम डील करते हैं. गवर्नमेंट की सोर्सेज क्या है रेवेन्यू के अर्न करने की, गवर्नमेंट के रेवेन्यू के सोर्स क्या क्या हो सकते हैं, टैक्सेस हो सकते हैं, नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू हो सकते हैं, मीन्स फ़ाइन, पेनाल्टीज़, रजिस्ट्रेशन, ये सारे क्या है गवर्नमेंट के रेवेन्यू है. एंड सेकेंड इज़ गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर कहाँ पे कर रहा है, मीन्स किसका कंस्ट्रक्शन, हाउसिंग का या स्कूल्स का, कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ डैम, ब्रिजेस, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, these all are the expenditure of the government. So when we deal with the government revenue and government expenditure, there were policy maintained and create, it is called the fiscal policy. इसको हम लोग fiscal policy कहते हैं. So tax reform are concerned with the reform in government revenue and government expenditure policy, which were collectively known as fiscal policy. Okay, in the fiscal policy we deal with the government revenue and the government expenditure. The following measures have been taken in this regard. There were following measures which were taken in this regard, and this is, first one is reduction in direct taxes. Okay, there are two kind of taxes, direct taxes and the indirect taxes. Okay, prior to 1991 and also after that, there has been a continuous increase in direct taxes, the taxes on income of the individual and the profit of business enterprises. Okay, the taxes which is imposed on the income of the consumer, it is called the income tax, and the tax which is imposed on the profit of the business enterprises. The business enterprises, one who attain and create the profit, owns the profit, on that a tax is imposed, which is called the corporation tax. These both are kind of the direct taxes. Okay, prior to 1991, also after that there has continuous there were before 1991 there were continuously increase in the increase in the direct taxes in income taxes as well as corporation tax. The tax is already continuously increasing. With economic reform, it was felt that the high rate of income tax were responsible for tax evasion. Okay, when it was also felt that when there was high income tax, it was also lead to the tax evasion. लोग क्या था, टैक्स का इवेजन करने लगे, मीन्स टैक्स को क्या करने, हाइड करने लगे. मीन्स इफ देयर वर इनकम इज 5 lakh 10 lakh, they have to create and they have to show only little income, means 50,000 1 lakh. So when there were too much income tax, the people will lead to the tax evasion, so that the tax will imposed on very less amount of their income. Therefore, since 1991, there has been a continuous reduction in taxes on the individual income. Okay, so since 1991, what will happen? There were continuous reduction in taxes on income. The tax which is imposed on the income is continuously decreasing. It is now widely accepted that the moderate rate of income tax encourage saving and voluntary disclosure of income. If there were moderate rate of income tax, so that people will encourage saving and voluntary disclosure of income, they will voluntarily disclose their income. So the rate of corporation tax also has been gradually reduced. Okay, when the rate of income tax will decrease, then people will started to more and more create and saving, and they also started to investment, as well as the rate of corporation tax has been gradually reduced. The tax rate of corporation tax is also started to decreasing. Now third is reform in indirect tax. Reform in indirect taxes. Prior to 1991, there were complexities in imposing the indirect taxes and recovering them. When we talk about the before 1991, there were so much complexities, and diversification was found whenever there is imposement of the इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स की. जब 1991 के पहले की बात करते हैं जब, तो बहुत सारी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज़ मिली कि इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स को हम कैसे इम्पोज करें एंड रिकवरिंग देम, और हाउ कैन वी रिकवर इट. So now efforts have been made to reform the indirect tax. Now there were several effects were made after introducing NEP 1991, New Economic Policy 1991, that is taxes levied on the commodities. Okay, now what will happen? The taxes is levied on the commodities. Whatever the commodities are produced, the taxes were levied on that. This was initiated to facilitate the establishment of the common national market for the goods and services. It was basically done for the common national market. There were no changes and there were no difference in the price of the market, so that it was done for the facilitating the establishment common market for the goods and services. For the basically whatever the goods and services are produced, it is done for the common national market. There should be a common national market. There were no diversification in the prices of the product which were produced. Next is simplification of the tax paying procedure. Okay, there were also very simplified in when the tax had to paid. Before 1991, it was very complex procedure to make tax payment in terms of long distance, fixed time period, etc. Okay, when we talk about the before 1991, it was seen that it was very complex procedure to make a tax payment. कि जो टैक्स हमको पे करना पड़ता था उसके लिए बहुत सारी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज़ थी. उसका जो प्रोसीजर था, द प्रोसीजर फॉर पेइंग दी टैक्सेस वर वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स in terms of long distance, fixed time period. When we talk about the time period was the fixed for any taxes, it was very complex to pay. Now, in order to encourage better compliance on part of the taxpayer, many procedures have been simplified for the betterment of the for the society as well as for betterment of the taxpayer. All the procedure of the tax paying were simplified. They become more and more simple so that people will pay easily. Fifth is goods and services tax. Recently, the Parliament passed a law, Goods and Services Tax Act, to simplify and introduce a uniform indirect tax system in India. Okay, in Parliament, 2000 Goods and Services Tax 2016 was enacted to simplify all the indirect taxes system in the India. These law came into effect from July 2017. Okay, it was came into effect in July 17. This is expected to generate additional revenue for the government. Okay, it is expected that there were expectation of more and more revenue generated for the government, as well as it will also reduces the tax evasion, and there is one nation and one tax and one market slogan is also prepared, so that the price and the tax is suitable and applicable for all over the country. One nation, one tax and one market. Next is foreign exchange reform. It is the next reform which were come into the liberalization. That is, it was the first important reform in the external sector to bring reform in foreign exchange market. Foreign exchange market is a market where there is changes in the foreign currencies, means the rate at which foreign currencies are changed or foreign currencies are exchanged is called foreign exchange rate. Means कि जो भी foreign exchange जो भी currency है, means कि when we give the 70 rupees in order to get the $1, कि अगर हम क्या कर रहे हैं, $1 पाने के लिए अपने 70 रुपीज़ को दे रहे हैं, तो ये किस रेट पे चेंज हो रहा है, ये 70 क्यों ही होगा, ये 80 क्यों नहीं हो सकता, ये 90 क्यों नहीं हो सकता, या ये 30 ही क्यों नहीं होता. तो ये रेट क्या होता है, इसी को क्या बोलते हैं, फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रेट, कि किस रेट पे ये जो फॉरेन करेंसीज है विल एक्सचेंज. ओके, so the measures are, first one is devaluation of rupee. In 1991, India was very badly hit by the balance of payment crisis. Okay, in 1991, India was suffered a balance of payment crisis where the expenditure of the government has become more than the expenditure income of the revenue. Income of the government. In other words, outflow of foreign exchange was more than the inflow of foreign exchange. So outflow of the फॉरेन एक्सचेंज, आउटफ्लो मीन्स जो हमारे मनी का जो पैसा था, हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे, हम लोग इम्पोर्ट इज़ मोर देन दी एक्सपोर्ट. सो आउटफ्लो ऑफ मनी इज़ मोर देन दी इनफ्लो ऑफ मनी. द reform in this regard was devaluation of rupee. Okay, it is only because of the devaluation of rupee. Now the question is, what is devaluation? Devaluation refers to the reduction in the value of domestic currency in relation to the foreign currency by the government. Okay, take one example. Okay, it is decided that the $1 is converted in rupees 70. Okay, it is decided. How it will decide it, I will tell also in this, and in the macroeconomics also there is also a chapter that is foreign exchange market. ठीक है, डिवैल्यूएशन रुपी क्या होता है कि अगर बैंक ने, देखिए इसका क्या होता है, इट इज़ डिसाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट एज वेल एज द मार्केट फोर्सेस. पहले क्या था कि गवर्नमेंट डिसाइड करती थी कि ये जो एक्सचेंज का रेट है कि 70 रुपीज़ हमको देना है, तो वो 70 ही क्यों होगा, वो 80 और वो 60 क्यों नहीं हो सकता. तो इट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट वाज डिसाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, बट देयर इज़ ऑल्सो changes occurs when there is also market forces will decide, means demand and supply will decide the what will be the exchange rate. So devaluation of the money simply means the reduction in value of domestic currency in relation to the foreign करेंसी। रिडक्शन इन द वैल्यू ऑफ मीन्स अगर रिडक्शन हो रहा है वैल्यू की तो अब क्या होगा, $1 इक्वल टू 80। अभी आपको लग रहा होगा कि ये तो रिडक्शन कहाँ, ये तो इंक्रीज़ हो रहा है, 70 टू 80 हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है अभी बताते हैं। सो इट लेड टू एन इंक्रीज इन द इनफ्लो ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज। देखिए ये क्या कह रहा है, रिडक्शन इन दी, एक मिनट, रिडक्शन इन द वैल्यू ऑफ डोमेस्टिक करेंसी इन रिलेशन टू दी फॉरेन करेंसी। हमारी जो वैल्यू है ना मनी की वो क्या हो गई है, डाउन हो गई है। कैसे, पहले हमको क्या कर रहा था, $1 इक्वल टू 70 दे रहे थे, बट अब क्या हो गई, हमारी जो वैल्यू है वो क्या, हमारी मनी की जो वैल्यू है व्हेन वी कंपेयर विद द फॉरेन करेंसी द वैल्यू इज़ डिक्लाइंड। मीन्स कि पहले यूएस को क्या करा था, वो $1 दे रही थी या हमारा 70 रुपीज़ का सामान लेके वो जा रही थी और वो क्या कर रही थी, $1 देती। अब हमारी वैल्यू क्या हो गई है, हमारी करेंसी की वैल्यू क्या हो गई है, कम हो गई है। कम कैसे हो गई है, अब हमको यूएस क्या कर रहा है, सामान लेके तो जा रहा है बट हमको पैसा कितना देना पड़ रहा है, 80। डैट मीन्स कि हमारी वैल्यू कम हो गई कि नहीं। हमारी इंडियन करेंसी की वैल्यू क्या है, हम लोग किसके पर्सपेक्टिव में पढ़ेंगे, डॉलर के पर्सपेक्टिव में। कभी भी डॉलर को हम लोग इंडियन पर्सपेक्टिव में नहीं पढ़ते हैं क्योंकि दे आर डेवलप्ड कंट्री, तो हमारी जो रेट डिसाइडेड होती है अकॉर्डिंग टू दी डॉलर डिसाइड होती है। सो इन दैट कंडीशन ये जो हमारी वैल्यू है मनी की वो क्या हो गई है, एज़ कंपेरिजन टू फॉरेन करेंसी वैल्यू हमारी फॉल कर गई है। मीन्स पहले हमारा 70 रुपया ही जा रहा था, 70 रुपीज़ ही जा रहा था और हमको प्रोडक्ट मिल जा, अब हमारा क्या है, हमको 80 रुपीज़ दे के कोई भी प्रोडक्ट मिल रहा है। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल हम किसी भी एक पेन की बात करते हैं, एक पेन लेते हैं, पेन में क्या था, पहले हम लोग 40 रुपीज़ दे रहे थे तो एक पेन मिल जा रही थी, बट अब हमको क्या कर रहे हैं, 80 रुपीज़ देने पे पेन मिल रही है। मीन्स ये क्या हो गया, डिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ रुपी। हमारी जो मनी की वैल्यू है, वैल्यू ऑफ मनी इज़ डिक्लाइंड, वो फॉरेन करेंसी मीन्स डॉलर के कंपैरेटिवली क्या हो गया, डिक्लाइन हो गया। सो द वैल्यू विल बी इंक्रीज्ड। इससे क्या होगा, दिस इनकरेज एक्सपोर्ट। एक्सपोर्ट कैसे, मीन्स जब फॉरेनर्स को, जो फॉरेन कंट्री है, डॉलर हम ले लेते हैं यूएस को, जब उनको पता चलेगा वो देखेंगे कि पहले 70 रुपीज़ का सामान हमको $1 में मिल रहा था, अब इंडिया को क्या है 80 रुपीज़, इंडिया 80 रुपीज़ दे रही है और मेरा तो $1 ही जा रहा है। तो इससे वो क्या होंगे, इनकरेज होंगे ना। हम अगर यूएस, आप एज अ खुद को यूएस समझ लिए, आपको पहले इंडिया से 70 रुपीज़ का सामान मिल रहा था, अब क्या है इंडिया का 80 रुपीज़ जा रहा है, इंडिया का 80 रुपीज़ जाने का और हमको $1 ही देना पड़ रहा है, तो हमारे लिए क्या हुआ, इनकरेज हुए ना कि अब तो हमें 80 रुपीज़ का सामान मिल रहा है। तो हम क्या करेंगे उस कंडीशन पे, हम एज अ यूएस हम क्या करेंगे, मोर एंड मोर एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे, कि हम क्या करेंगे और ज़्यादा सामान क्या करेंगे, एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे। और इंडिया क्या है, कोई भी कंट्री क्या है, वो डिस्करेज होगी इंपोर्ट करने से। मीन्स वो क्या, इंडिया क्या कहेगी कि पहले तो हमें 70 रुपीज़ का ही सामान मिल जा रहा था, अब हमको क्या है 80 रुपीज़ देना पड़ेगा। तो इंडिया वाले क्या करेंगे, अपनी कंट्री में इंपोर्ट नहीं करवाएंगे और यूएस वाले क्या होंगे, वो इनकरेज होंगे, वो इसलिए मोर एंड मोर एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे। तो इसको हम लोग फॉरेन एक्सचेंज जो चैप्टर है इन मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स वी विल डिस्कस ब्रॉडली। ओके, तो सिंपली डिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ रुपी का मतलब ये होता है कि फॉल इन दी वैल्यू ऑफ द डोमेस्टिक करेंसी इन रिलेशन टू द फॉरेन करेंसी। सो इट विल encourage the export for the US and discourage the import for the India. It led to an increase in the inflow of foreign exchange. So what it will lead, it will lead the, we will get the more inflow. इनफ्लो मीन्स कि हमारा क्या है, इनफ्लो और हो जाएगा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज का, और क्या होगा, और आउटफ्लो क्या हो जाएगा, वो कम हो जाएगा। सो it will lead to the devaluation of rupee. We will take the some example and refers to 3.1. For example, if $1 equal to 50, okay, it was decided by the market forces as well as the government that the $1 equal to 50 rupees. Devaluation would mean fall in the value of Indian currency done by the government. Okay, the government what will do, they will do fall in the value of the Indian currency, value of Indian currency will fall, वो क्या हो जाएगी, fall हो जाएगी। Now after devaluation $1 equal to 60. ओके, अभी क्या हो गया, $1 इक्वल टू 60. हमारी जो वैल्यू थी, हमारी इंडियन वैल्यू क्या थी, वो डाउन हो गई. सो $1 के प्लेस पे वी हैव टू गिव दी मोर 10 एक्स्ट्रा 10 रुपीज़. सो $1 इक्वल टू 60. This, the effect of devaluation would be, it will make our import costlier. अब हम क्या करेंगे, कोई भी if we importing the product from the US, it will make the costlier because first of in previous we have to give the for 50 rupees. Now we are going to give extra 10 rupees, so it becomes the costlier for India because we have to pay 60 instead of 50 to buy the good worth $1. जो good $1 का था, उस पहले हम लोग उस पर 50 रुपीज़ दे रहे थे, अब हमको 60 रुपीज़ देना है. डैट मीन वैल्यू हमारी क्या हो गई, वो फॉल कर गई है. सो इम्पोर्ट हमारा, हमको इम्पोर्ट जो हम अपनी कंट्री में मंगा रहे हैं वो क्या आ जाएगा, इट विल कॉस्टलियर एंड इट विल इनकरेज एक्सपोर्ट. ये क्या होगा, एक्सपोर्ट को इनकरेज करेगा बिकॉज नाउ अमेरिका कैन बाय गुड्स वर्थ ₹60 इंस्टेड ऑफ गुड्स वर्थ ₹50 विद डॉलर फ्रॉम $1 फ्रॉम इंडिया. अब इंडिया से क्या करेगा, वो एक्सपोर्ट क्या करेगा, गुड 60 का गुड्स का वो एक्सपोर्ट करेगा इन प्लेस ऑफ 50. $1 पे ही उसको देने पे पहले 50 रुपीज़ के प्रोडक्ट मिल रहे थे, अब उसको 60 रुपीज़ के प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा. तो उस अमेरिका के लिए क्या हो गया, ये प्रॉफिटेबल हो गया. सो अमेरिका क्या इनकरेज होगा, वो मोर एंड मोर एक्सपोर्ट. और फॉर इंडिया, इंडिया विल डिस्करेज द इम्पोर्ट बिकॉज फॉर इंडिया इट इज़ द लॉस कंडीशन एंड फॉर US it is the profitable condition. So from this we have stopped this topic and we will continue in the next class.